That's one of my questions. Every time I call you, it's just updating the board. Today's better than that. Y'all still do those fight nights? That's something to talk about. Will, he was working on those fight days. That's that was the first time I did this. I was playing kid.
You behaving yourself? You behaving yourself? Huh? I saw her. How you doing? How's your son? Watch that cord. I'll break a hip.
That was fun. Of course, my back doesn't bend that far, so.
Outside of this cold wheels, you got cold wheels.
Yeah, this is good. Oh, he just snuck in. I don't have time. I've heard a lot of people say
If I was younger, I'd take a running jump. That might wind up with hospitalization. I can go over. I can go over.
I'm not upset. I'm not upset about it, but it's just, I'm glad it's time I had. That was one thing. How I was talking. How was like, they guarantee don't count. No, you know, it's in your hand. Yeah, it's really $100. Yeah. No, I know that's weird. Yeah, I need to be that company. I was doing 15 years. You know how much I've been told? I mean, yeah. But, found me some good suits and good wheels. I found two suits, $30 for good wheels. Yeah, we had 6 points. So, I got a gray suit now, I got a black suit, all the yellow. And this is what I didn't get the brown. And I would actually have 4 suits. I'm happy about that. That'd be the most suits I've ever had one time in my life. So like, I really get back out there, I'm going to be doing things in a whole different mindset. I've been to a call shop and I set right there and start getting phone calls, all these things I've been getting, start getting calls, and I'm like, it's really head things that really big. They said, when you hear that Mr. Douglas Henry, I got to listen to that. Once I bid them, I start to call me, so we can start to get
Really big shoe, really big shoe.
Yeah, that's all
Tell them what? We're recognizing these guys so you can see.
It was Casey.
Everybody can make their way to a seat.
I told myself I was going to do this. I don't worry about this. Is the year of hurricanes. But Hapeville campus is my place right now.
All right. Welcome, everyone. I will call to order the March 1st regular meeting of the Hapeville City Council. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. And the roll call will reflect that all members of the Mayor and Council are present. At this time, I'd like to call upon Councilman Diane Demick, who's going to lead us in the pledge. And if you would, remain standing. Councilman Michael Ramey will deliver the invocation. Please stand and face the American flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, I thank you this night that where we have confidence, you give us humility. Where we have fear, you give us strength. Where we have understanding, that you add wisdom, and that we do everything seasoned with grace. In your name, amen.
Amen. All right, we have some years of service recognitions tonight. And William, you want me to do this? You want to do it?
I'd like to lead out, Mr.
Please
Mayor,
do,
if it's
sir.
okay, and invite you up to the photo op. And the rest of the council. But before I go forward with the years of service presentation, I have a surprise presentation. This council and this community has, and this management team has been blessed beyond measure to have a man who loves this city serve as its fire chief now for multiple years, and since I think 2007, 06, excuse me. And
You remember every year of it, don't you?
and he has been with the fire service now in our city, and I'm sad to say he's going to retire. I couldn't talk him out of it. 32 years Tommy has served this city, and I have a surprise recognition from him from the Rotary Club. So if you could come forward, and Tommy, if you would come forward. You wouldn't come to the meeting, so I got you.
Just hold that button down just until the green light comes on.
Hey, Tommy. Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to bring a few of our Rotarians up here and introduce them first. We have Michael Gibbs. Michael has a business he just started here, American Family Life, right next to your business. And great insurance. I know I got my insurance from. We have Kirsten Lawless. She has 4 of the McDonald's, the one here in Hapeville and one at East Point College Park. And Jackson. We got Jane Gunner. Jane is with Family Life Ministry. And a lot of you know of her. She's in the Baptist church, but we help the homeless and feed all the needy here. And we have, I call him my cousin. This is Dr. Herschel Robinson. We've been friends for 35 years, I think now, but he was the Tri-Cities high school principal, brought all the high schools many years that those who've been around here know, and that was a chore bringing all the high schools together. But this is a lot of our executive board of our Rotary Club. Rotary does a lot of things in this area, and for 28 years now, we have recognized Firefighters of the Year. We did that February 18th, and Tommy was sick, and so he didn't come to me. We had this presentation for him.
He said he was sick.
You probably heard we did something. And then we have the Police Officer of the Year, which we've done for 20 years. We recognize 5 cities now, not just one, Hapeville, but Rotary does all around the airport and everything. I also want to bring up here 2 people from our largest business, I guess, here in Hapeville, the great Atlanta Airport Hill. Larry Williams and David Shepard, the General Manager and the Director of Security, come forward, please, because they're part of this presentation. Rotary is all about service, you know, and what Tommy's done for 32 years, and my business has been here 41 of our 43 years. This was our second shop. We merged them all together, it became the last one. But we've done things in service for here, and we really recognize people of service. Give you a few other things that, you know, our club has done. Paint the town. Linda told me about it, and she needed money, and our Rotary Club gave her $2,000, which got it jumping. She did all the work after that, but that's been a great thing. Yeah, we worked with it too. And, you know, there's been some great things in service, but again, we're here tonight to honor Tommy. Tommy I've known for all those years, because I've been here, my business has been here. They've been to my shop a few times on false alarms, on people that thought they were having a heart attack sometimes, and thank God they weren't. One of our employees fell off the loading dock once, and they were there in an instant. And, you know, we can't, as business people, us Rotarians, say enough about our firefighters, what you do on every day to protect us and to serve us. And this is a small thing we've done every year for 28 years, and we want to present you with this plaque. Open it and you can present it. Houston is our incoming president starting July 1st, but this plaque just honors him for his 32 years of service to the airport area and Hapeville for firefighting and rescue, and we really appreciate it. Get in here, Michael. Let's get a picture of all of us. Something that the Hilton has to present to you here.
I have an envelope, Chief.
Oh, no.
On behalf of the Hilton and our esteemed General Manager, David Shepard, we'd like to thank you for all the years of service that you and your department have provided to not only us, but the community as a whole, and for the fine job that your guys do each time they come out and assist us with any situations that we may have going. I can't think of a better, finer department than the Hapeville Fire Department, and you've done a fantastic job, and I hope you enjoy your retirement. The hotel would like to recognize you and your wife for 2 nights stay at the Hilton. You also have a free meal and free parking.
We can't say enough, you know, about Tommy and what he's done. All of y'all that know Tommy, he's very low key, but he does a lot. And his department back there does an awesome job. Let's give them all a big
I just want to say thank you. It's been a pleasure working here all these years, growing up here, and it's been a privilege of mine. Thank you.
right here, you stand in the middle. Squeeze in.
No.
Let's get Mary, you want to get this? Turn sideways, I guess. Turn sideways.
Yeah, we are.
Want to move that car?
Yeah, move that phone.
Do you need to move over that way some?
All right, guys. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Yay!
One more,
One more in the back.
Another picture.
See?
All right.
They also help in
So, Mr. Mayor, with that, we have some years of service recognitions to catch up on. And the first one is Bobby Craig. It says here that Bobby came into the service of the city 25 years ago. Bobby, come on forward.
regular meetings, regular meetings. Trying to 3293 Old Johnson Road.
Bye, guys.
Never a dull moment, huh? Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
This next guy, I'm sure everybody here knows, he is one of my go-to people. When you come into this job, you kind of learn pretty fast who you can count on. Mr. Dependable, Lee Sutton. 20 years.
He had hair on his head when he started. I can't tell you. Well, it gives me great pleasure to present you with this 20-year service plaque. Thanks so much. Wow. 20 years. Mike, don't stick around till
And then we have someone who has been here with the department and the city for 30 years. Goodness, my hair, I thought my hair was great. Richard Coward.
Laura, sit down.
Mayor, that's it for tonight, but I will tell you that the city staff continues to work on this recognition program. The criteria for being announced and recognized here at the formal council meeting is 20 or more years of service. So, and we still have a little list of people to go, so we'll reserve the right to, like a good commercial, be back again.
All right. Thank you, folks. Congratulations to everybody for the recognition, and Dennis Martino and crew from the Rotary Club. Thank you so much for taking to recognize the great people we have. At this time, we have a presentation on a ladder truck. The current fire department ladder truck that we have is kind of like Phyllis Diller, can't have any more facelift done. So we've put her together over these years, and now it's time for a change. So I will turn this over to Tommy, who's doing.
Wait, I'll lead out,
Okay,
Mr.
thank
Mayor, if I may. What I'd like to say is that sometime last year, this problem was brought to council's attention, and you stepped up. And tonight wouldn't be possible without your leadership and your support. We were successful in establishing, with legal counsel's assistance, a special district which levied a 1 mil tax on all buildings in the city that were 4 or more stories, such that they would need this special apparatus to support, God forbid, anything terrible happen. So basically the tax was put into place. We began doing the collections. Everything went smoothly. And once I was satisfied that we had everything in place, we went shopping. And we knew that based on the criteria of the kind of equipment we wanted and needed, that it wasn't possible to buy brand new right out of the box. It takes more than a year to put such a vehicle online. It's very customized and it's very, very expensive. So my direction to the team was develop a set of criteria that works for the city, that meets our needs. And oh, by the way, we want to stay within budget. So that was a tall order. And typically, you know, you go out and you know, you do your homework. And I was so impressed with the homework that this team put together. I said, you know, we need to go ahead and bring this forward tonight and see if we can come to some conclusions. We used the same criteria, and all 4 companies we approached that had used fire equipment that wasn't like used and abused, but was, you know, older. Basically, that criteria was applied to every apparatus, and basically we competed the requirements such that everyone had the same information and the same opportunities to present their best bid and quote back to us. It was all done in writing. Nothing was done with a handshake or anything of the sort. So what I'd like to do, with your permission, is to ask our lead negotiator, Tommy, and his team to come forward and walk you through a PowerPoint presentation that basically takes you from forward with the need that the city had and how we went about evaluating what was available for purchase on the market. And then basically we have a recommendation to present to you in terms of how we would like to proceed tonight in moving forward on this potential lease purchase arrangement. So with that, I'd like to ask Tommy and Larry to come forward and give you a brief overview on the PowerPoint, kind of walking you through all of the requirements. I know this will be a bit lengthy in terms of the presentation, but I wanted you to understand what a thorough job they did, because you know, when you're talking about $1 million, you want to make sure that you cross your T's, dot your I's, and do your homework, and this group has done that.
Larry did a lot of the work. He's the, I will just follow.
Oh, hold on just a minute.
I'm going to turn the presentation over to Larry.
Hello everyone, my name is Larry Richardson. We'll be talking you through this, as you see there, it's a little lengthy PowerPoint presentation. But this is our 2016 aerial apparatus purchase. We'll go ahead and click. Our objectives, we went through the NFPA requirements. Our current apparatus in our fleet, the maintenance costs for our current aerial, our the options that we look for in an aerial apparatus, the cost of financing, a summary, and then our recommendations and some looking ahead of what future apparatus we're going to be looking at. NFPA, the National Fire Protection Association, basically is what is the litigious thing that gives us everything that has to deal with fire service, apparatus, personnel, equipment we have to carry. They recommend that the aerial apparatus should be taken out of frontline service after 15 years. Fire engines and pumpers, these don't have the huge ladders on them, should be taken out of frontline service after about 10 years. They should be moved to either reserve status or even discarded. Frontline ambulances should be rotated from frontline after every 5 years. Our current fleet, ladder 1 is a 1986 Sutton aerial ladder. Engine 1, which is a frontline engine, is a 2011 KME fire engine. Engine 2 is a 1997 FERRARA fire engine. Engine 3, a 1991 E1 fire engine, is also a reserve engine. Our Med 1 is a 2010 Chevrolet ambulance, and Med 2, which is a reserve, is a 2003 Freightliner, and our rope rescue truck is a 1995 International.
And ladder 1 is looking for a 30-year pin today.
As Matt said, ladder 1 is 30 years old. She's 15 years past the NFPA recommendations. It is an open cab, which does not meet the current NFPA requirements. We do have some safety concerns with our hydraulic system. It is very old. It is kind of antiquated. We have had a not a complete failure, but we have had issues in the past with our hydraulic system. The parts, as you can imagine, if you have a 30-year car, they're kind of hard to find parts. So parts are difficult to find, they're expensive. Some parts even have to be machined because we just can't find the parts. And this is ladder one.
She's so beautiful.
These are our maintenance costs for the last 8 years. Over the last 8 years, it's been $140,505.36. Just to give you an idea of that, it's 1/3 the cost of the brand new engine pumper. 1/3 the cost, so pretty substantial. Our search and evaluation criteria. Can this truck ultimately serve the citizens of Hapeville as an effective fire suppression apparatus? Yes, it can. Does the truck have the latest safety features for our personnel? Absolutely. Does this truck meet or exceed our ISO requirements? We're an ISO level of 2. We want to keep that. That's great for the citizens. So, and yes, it does. Can this apparatus serve as a frontline suppression unit should our aging engines be rendered out of service for a maintenance issue or whatever like that? Yes, it can. So it can function like an engine if we need it to. Can this apparatus fit in our station bay, and can it maneuver through the city? This is an important thing because our stations are also a little bit older, and our bays are not as high as most normal bays are. Our other search evaluation criteria was, can this apparatus be used as a combined purpose between 2 response vehicles? Ladder trucks have evolved through the years, and what they've done, they're allowed to take rescue equipment. The compartments are bigger, so you can take rescue equipment, put it on this apparatus, and you can function in multi-capacity, whether it be rope, high-angle rescue, stuff like that. Does this apparatus have to be a special licensed personnel to operate? Some apparatus are so big that you have to have a CDL to drive it. Well, this apparatus that we looked at, all the apparatus that we looked at do not. Does the apparatus fit within the proposed budget? Absolutely. Is this unit reliable, good condition? Future maintenance costs be decreased? Yes, they will. They come with warranties, much like a car, but there's little intricacies with that because each part is different. But does the apparatus manufacturer have mobile maintenance capabilities to limit our downtime? Yes. This is really important because at Hapeville, we don't have the opportunity to just send it, hey, we want to send our truck over there. Well, we can't do that. We have to keep our truck in our city. So we need somebody that if it goes down, we need to have a way for somebody to get here and fix it as quickly as possible. The aerial operations we evaluated was E1 is a manufacturer, but it's a E1 95 mid-mount aerial platform, a Sutton, which is what we have now is a Sutton, so it's very proved to be very longevity-wise. A Pierce 95-foot mid-mount and a FERRARA 100-foot mid-mount. And these are the emblems that go with each of those apparatus. The E1, it's an aluminum ladder. Aluminum's lighter than steel. So it has a 2,000 gallon per minute pump, has 4 ladder sections, it meets all our requirements. It's lighter weight than most of the competitors. It has less fuel consumption, and by that, I don't want to lead you to think that it's going to get 25 miles per gallon. Okay? We're going to get about maybe 3.5 to 4 on a good day with the wind behind us. Okay? Steel ladders are going to get about 2.5, so we're not talking about a trip to Florida that's affordable. There's going to be less tire wear, and there's going to be less maintenance costs. And the reason it says dog bone is because when you look at a big apparatus and you see these large tires in the back, there's going to be a big bar between that and the back. When the truck articulates, all that weight pushes on that bar. Well, that bar will wear out over time. It's very expensive to fix. The good thing about this is it's a demo truck. It has been used, and it's available right now. So we don't have to wait. Most apparatus, you have to wait. You have to go through a spec process where you go in and measure shelves and do all this, and we want this here, this light here. Well, this truck meets everything we need, and it's available right now. And there it is. This is the actual truck. We've actually put our hands on it. I've been up in the bucket. We've done everything with this truck. The good thing about this truck, it has a small footprint. The footprint being some of our streets are not very wide. So when you have these outriggers, these things right here that come out, they stabilize the truck so when we go into aerial operations, it doesn't turn over. So this truck right here, it has a small footprint. So it's allowed for the small city streets that we can fly that stick. This is the stick. We can fly it without having to get in somebody's yard or we're crushing anything on curbs or anything like that. There's another picture of it.
She's so beautiful.
If you go back and visit all the trucks. Again, we try to make this, we look for a truck that we can function as a fire or a fire engine as well. So we can fight fire, we can do stuff like that with it. Well, on the front of this truck, there's a hose that comes up here in the front that's called a trash line. You don't find that on a lot of ladders. And it's really unique that this was on this ladder because in lieu of us pulling up to a fire that's a dumpster fire or something like that, we can jump out, grab that line, and we're out in just a few seconds. Pierce is a 5-section steel ladder. It's heavier than the E1 in Sutton, a little bit more tire wear, more fuel cost. Again, we're not looking at a substantial amount. More maintenance costs. I went to Statesboro, Georgia. Statesboro, Georgia has a Pierce fleet. And I asked them, hey, look, what do you like about your Pierce? And they said, well, it's great, but we're 2 years into it, or almost 3 years into it, we're replacing our dog bone already. 3 years. So, and that's not a warranty item, it's a wear and tear issue. So that's one of our problems. There's no demo available with Pierce because we have to have a mid-mount, which is a lower truck, so they can fit in our station. So they have to build this, and we're looking at 11, 12 months on a build out. Now, Pierce is the Cadillac of apparatus manufacturers. Very nice apparatus. Not a lot of complaints with them, not a lot of downtime. And there it is right there. Functions the same way. Still a great truck. FERRARA, we got FD&Y just started to go with FERRARA. That's Fire Department of New York. It's a 95-foot, same thing, much like the Pierce. 5-section steel ladder, heavier, more tire wear, more maintenance costs. They have a demo available. They are building, essentially this makes this kind of an oxymoron, they're building a used truck because they are trying to sell a truck because mid-mount aerials, a lot of people just don't buy because they have huge big stations and they can fit these big trucks in and we can't. So this truck is in final production. It'll be ready in July. And we would have a little bit of playroom to kind of manipulate a few things on it, but not much. And there is the FERRARA. A truck came out. We got on this truck. It was not a mid-mount. It was a rear mount where this bucket is hanging off the front of the truck and it connects in the back. I wasn't as impressed with it as I was the other trucks, but it's still a really good truck. There it is again. Sutphen. This is what we have now. It's aluminum box construction ladder, so the ladder is made out of a box. Very well ladder, 4 fly sections, meets all the requirements. It's lighter, less fuel, less tire wear, less maintenance, but it has a large footprint. It is 20 feet from outside to outside. So if you imagine some of our streets are not very wide, we're sitting down in gutter to gutter to fly a stick. Especially at the Hilton, if we're on the back side and we have to rescue someone or something like that, we don't have a lot of room to set up. So we'll be working off what's called a short jack side, and that's ultimately not the safest thing that you want to do. But it's also available right now. That is a picture of it, of a typical Sutphen ladder, much like the one we already have. And this is the actual one that is ready right now. As you can see though, it does not have the jump line in the front, so it kind of limits some of our capabilities a little bit. Cost and finance, the big aspect. E1 goes through shelves, real outdoors, because all these trucks you got to figure, we got to put axes, chainsaws, and all this other stuff in it that we have to be able to secure. It can't just open the door and all this stuff come falling out. So we have to have all this stuff to basically fasten everything on the inside of it. And the E1 cost finance came into $1,010,796. The annual payment for 15 years is $87,388 at 3.10%. And it's $88,194, 3.10%, beginning first payment July 1st, 2016. Pierce, permanent shelves, all pretty much essentially the same stuff. Pierce coming a little bit higher. It is $1,148,000, and we're a little bit over budget as far as it goes for our annual payment of $94,625. Again, as you can see, it is the Cadillac of apparatus, but it's still a year out. We're looking at a year out before we would even get delivery of this truck. FERRARA, much of the same stuff, shelves, pipe holes, all of this stuff. And these are the terms right here. They came in right slightly above budget, but their last thing that they came in because they sold a truck that we were gonna get. So they have another one that's in production, but it's gonna be a little bit more than this. We just got this information about me, now a little bit more. We're looking at about $500-600 more. But New York Fire Department, they're replacing their entire fleet with it, their aerial apparatus, but they also have the mechanics, the everything, the entire capacity to maintain that fleet. And FERRARA also, for good tidbit, FERRARA, at 9/11, you know, when they lost all their apparatus and when the towers came down, FERRARA sent them trucks free. They immediately sent them up there, so they're really good job. Sutphen, same thing, cost includes this. We're still a little above on our finances at $94,729 for an annual payment. So our summary, all our manufacturers were given the same search and evaluation criteria. All of these apparatus meet the needs of our city. All of these apparatus are close in price, give or take, as well as financing terms. E1 has a less of an interest rate. The Sutphen truck is available immediately. All of it is $4,000 above yearly budget.
Excuse me, Larry, let
Yes.
me just interrupt and say that we just received a letter from E1 where they were rolling out a brand new national program to lower the interest rate. And so therefore it lowers the cost of purchase and our payment. And I've sent that information to council email this afternoon, and I have a hard copy. So we're actually even lower than the number you see.
Yes, sir.
The annual collections on the 1 mil tax are around $90,000. So again, our goal was to keep the purchase below an annual payment of, you know, we collect $90,000, you want to pay less than $90,000, and the actual payment for this unit, the E1, for 15 years would be $81,000 a year, and for 14 years, $86,000.
Here's the most expensive of this research, and it's approximately 1 year from delivery. I kind of picked that horse. E1 is the least expensive. I don't want to call it the cheapest because it's not a cheap apparatus. It's a great apparatus. We have an E1 in our fleet right now. It's a 1991, and it still works. We've laid hands on the E1. We've played with it. We've done everything we've done with it. FERRARA is the next least expensive. FERRARA truck will not be available in July and slightly above our proposed budget. So our research is, our recommendation is, after careful research, recommendation of myself, Chief Morrison, City Manager, to vote in favor of the purchase of the 95-foot E1 aerial apparatus. This apparatus meets the search criteria formed by myself and the fire chief, and comes in obviously more now than our proposed budget. There are miscellaneous items, axes, like
Comes in lower than.
yeah, I'm sorry, lower. It comes in with access, pike poles, stuff like that. We're going to be able to put that in there. These items will be purchased through a current fire department budget and not be included in the finance bill. As part of our hazard mitigation plan, we have created a critical needs assessment, and that's to bolster the responsibilities of the fire department to reduce liability to the city. These needs are essential items needed to protect the citizens of Hapeville in a time of emergency, be it natural, man-made, or technological disaster. These are things that we need to make sure that if we have a terrorist attack, a flood, a hurricane, a tornado, anything that comes through that can affect our citizens, what can we do to sustain for 96 hours? So example of these items are portable light towers, rescue cribbing, hazmat decon systems. We have an enormous amount of fuel sitting right here on the edge of our city that's with the airport. We're looking at, what, 33 million gallons cheap fuel? I mean, that's a lot of fuel. The fire suppression systems of those are a little bit antiquated as well for the airport. But heaters, other items that would sustain our community, again, for 72 to 96 hours. We recommend selling the 1986 Sutphen ladder and the international truck to the highest bidder. We then can utilize that money to retrofit Chief Morris Black Ford F-150 with a rollout bed, a camper shell, trailer hitch, and more emergency lighting. So that, and also purchase the Big Tex is just a name, of an enclosed trailer. We could put our hazmat, all our stuff that we're needing for this needs assessment that we can use to protect the citizens of Hapeville, and we can store that in there, and a trailer is really no maintenance cost. It's nothing. You know, we gotta wash it every now and then. But, and then we could use this black F-150 as a multi-purpose incident command vehicle, that when it shows up on scene, it's not like it's just transporting a body, it's transporting many other things that we can use to help mitigate a hazard. That can be a functional incident command vehicle for the fire department shift supervisor. So the next step. The next steps is the council should waive a sealed bidding requirements per the city code, 17.324. Budget amendment should be prepared and adopted to move a special tax district to the line item to pay yearly payment for the purchase of aerial apparatus. And a delivery date has to be arranged with us in E1, and contracts would have to be awarded and signed, and recommended council action on 3/15. Ladder 1 and Road 1 have to be made ready for sale and disposed of for previous recommendations. Looking ahead, Engine 2 is a 1997 FERRARA pumper. It is 9 years past the federal recommendations by the FBA 1901. Engine 2 is a frontline vehicle and is escalating in maintenance costs. This is out of Station 2, by the way. This is our reserve truck. This is Engine 3. It's a 1991. Again, it's 15 years past the federal recommendations. Engine 3 is a reserve apparatus, and it's utilized for when our other trucks go out of service. Any questions?
So you just heading around on them other ones, a couple of fire
Yeah,
trucks.
that's a free paid, unpaid commercial.
Cheese.
Council, you have any questions on this?
I'd like to say thank you for all of your hard work, Larry and Chief and William. I think that was an incredibly specific, detailed work.
Thank you, Larry and Tommy. Lights back on.
Yes, thank you.
Nice. All right, our next order of business that is up is the approval of minutes for the February 2nd, February 16th meeting. Anyone prepared to make a motion on this item? Motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Yes. And I've talked to Jennifer about this, and this is on the minutes for, February the 2nd, the 7 o'clock meeting. It was regarding conversation, discussion about, with Linda Murray regarding the Paint the Town. And and I've talked to Linda about this, and she remembers it the same way. We just need to add a sentence in this to amend it. Is as we had discussion, Linda and I mostly about what their budget was for the coming year and what was, had been done in the past. I believe I had asked her the question of what was in their bank account now, and she does remember that, and she said around $6,500. So I would like to add that statement to the minutes.
So does anyone modify their motion to reflect as amended?
I will reflect as amended.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second mine. I'm in mine, second.
All right.
I think this one day.
Further discussion? Being none, all in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign, and the motions are approved as amended. Next item up is a public hearing. I will call a public hearing to order regarding consideration and action on ordinance 2016-03. This is a billiard ordinance. On February 2nd, 2016, council adopted an ordinance redefining the term pool halls, billiard rooms in the Arts Overlay District of the city. For equity purposes, the city council asked staff to prepare for consideration an ordinance that would expand the new definitions to additional commercial areas of the city. The attached ordinance is recommended to correct the issue as requested by council. First reading was on February 16, 2016. Any staff comments on this?
Bill may have some, sir.
Mayor, Council, what this ordinance does is defines billiard hall is any facility that has more than 6 billiard tables. It also requires that the use of billiard tables in any facility has to be a restaurant. So you can't have a freestanding billiard hall. It assigns the restaurant with accessory use of up to 6 tables in various districts, and I'll read those for the record. That is, as seen in this flow chart that you have in your packet, it's the village zone, the urban village, the residential mixed use, C1, C2, business park, and the downtown development zones. So again, in conjunction with the restaurant, up to 6 pool tables.
All right, public comments either for or against. I'll start on my right. We can move that podium back up this way, Laura, if you want to.
Good evening. Is it working?
Yeah.
I have some concern on this ordinance to go citywide, but I still haven't had an answer of whether this takes the 25% of the 75-25 rule, or if you can remove tables in order to put pool tables in. Is this in addition to? If you have 2,000 square feet that you are now having as seating, using 25% as your waiting area and bar area, which would be 500 square feet, you can fit 2 pool tables into that.
I think we'll probably address that footprint issue when we look at the rewrite on the alcohol.
But as this stands now, how does this, if the alcohol ordinance does not change, how does this fit in as things stand now? I guess is my question. Because it was never said, well, if you have 500 square feet of available space, instead of waiting to be served, you can put 2 pool tables. If you don't have that space, can you remove tables and chairs that are now dining in order to accommodate 6 pool tables? How does that work? That's my question on that. So I think basically we should keep it to the Arts Overlay District so as not to make it cumbersome on code enforcement.
Doesn't the footprint that you're speaking of apply in the Arts Overlay District as well?
Well, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking for a clarification. Does this apply to 25%? I've never gotten an answer on that.
I don't know the answer right off the top of my head.
As the law states now, I'd like some clarification on that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other comments on my right? Okay, move to the left. Comments on the left-hand side of the room? Okay, if not, council, any comments or questions?
Well, when we passed the one for the Arts District, then the idea was this was to make everybody on the same footing and not treat one different than the other. So I think we need to address this 25 to 75, let staff look at that, but it can be addressed in the alcohol ordinance. So I have no problem with the ordinance as it's written.
Any other comments or questions?
I think that if we were going to rewrite the alcohol ordinance in the near future, then we could maybe look into that more. I think with this rewrite that's coming up right behind this, it'll sort of move right in. So.
Any other questions or comments? Or is anyone prepared to make a motion on this item?
I move we pass it.
Motion to
Pass ordinance.
approve 2016-03.
03, billiard ordinance.
A motion to approve, is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second, all right, discussion.
The discussion I'd like to have is the previous motion I made to approved billiards and the art overlay included that this be passed also. And my legal question will be, if this doesn't pass, will that void the other one? Even though it was part of the motion?
I don't think so.
Well, I have a real problem with treating some businesses different than others, and that's the reason that was part of my previous motion, is that all should be treated the same.
So that was actually part of your motion?
That was part of my motion, was that, with the stipulation that this motion also be passed. And everybody voted for it.
Okay. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign, and the motion carries. All right, next item is consideration of action. Again, we still remain in the public hearing. Consideration of action on ordinance 2016-05, extended stay. There was some discussion about this during the work session, about maybe tabling this, but if we do table, we need to take certain. Is it the desire to table, or?
I would like to table, but I also like to discuss it and just try to figure out.
Okay, well, all right.
So could we do discussion?
Interesting. If we're going to table action on item, Steve, can we have discussion about it? Okay. All right. Okay, so in that case, I'll call for staff comment on that. We'll just go through the process and then we can vote to table it. Okay. If that's the direction, everybody, if that's the direction.
Go ahead. Bill, go ahead.
Staff?
I just don't know what my concerns are.
Okay.
Mayor, Council, and all.
I think so.
You have in your packet, I believe, a document that's entitled Standards and Zones Appropriate for Executive Suites Hotels, that's extended stay. And in that document, the Exhibit A talks about the ordinances in terms of the regulations on extended stay. C2 zone permits extended stay hotels, provided the one bedroom, for example, has 480 square feet. And I should say that extended stay hotels are defined as any hotel that has cooking facilities, and of course those facilities are defined as well. This use is also permitted in the CR zone. If you'll see on the zoning map, CR zone extends up Dogwood and flanks to the rear, single-family detached neighborhoods, as it does on North Central. The RMU zone, which is largely the Old First Ward, the Asbury Park property, allows extended stay hotels subject to those same parameters, 480 square feet. These facilities are prohibited in the UV zone, and hotels themselves are conditional use in the UV zone. Some history we have with extended stay hotels includes Marriott Residence Inn and Marriott Courtyard on International Boulevard, both of which have been on the ground for at least 20 years. We have a new Staybridge Suites on Norman Berry Drive. We also have City Suites, formerly In-Town Suites, that was originally developed as a Ramada hotel. Kitchenettes were not available originally in the standards applicable to extended stay hotels. If any existed, were likely not enforced. I know that we've had a bad experience with that particular establishment. So what the ordinance before you does is proposes more than 30 parameters for as requirements for extended stay hotels. There's a recommendation as to